Welcome to Mindful Awareness, the podcast where we explore the transformative power of the mind in healing, growth, and self-discovery. I'm your host, Yuri, certified consulting hypnotist in Mindful Awareness and member of the National Guild of Hypnotists, and today we're diving into a topic that affects many of us, how we can use hypnosis and mindfulness to manage and even let go of allergies. Allergies can be a frustrating and often debilitating experience. For many, it feels like there's no solution beyond medication. But what if I told you that there's a way to address your body's response to allergens at a deeper level? I'm so confident that I'm giving you a 100% satisfaction guarantee. All you have to do is follow my step-by-step processes that will allow you to get that freedom back. Now, I know that seems like a big call on my part, but I'm 100% confident that you'll see one of the greatest differences, improvements, and complete let go of that allergy. That you will just love this program. All you have to do is follow the steps. And I'm not talking about just crazy woo-la-la stuff. This is about retraining your brain to realize that that allergy is no longer needed. So what kind of allergies am I talking about? Well, it could be things such as pollen, dust. It could be maybe your allergies around pet hairs or animal hairs such as dogs or cats and so on. Whatever's floating around in your environment, whatever allergy is, this will be completely for you. I'm so convinced and know that this will work for you. And as I said, it's not woo-la-la, this is just biology. And let's kind of put it this way. Here's what's going on a biological standpoint when it comes to allergies. Every time you are in an environment which, depending on your allergy, could be dust, pollen, cat, or dog hair, for example, your body has an inappropriate response to that allergen. So inappropriate. Now, this is medical where the body has made a mistake. And what happens is once it's in your environment, when you breathe it in and around your environment, your biological defense is to get armed up, is to protect itself, is to produce antibodies to that allergen and attach itself to what they call a mast cell. And when that allergen hits those antibodies, your mast cell releases massive amounts of histamine. This production is to attack that allergen. But as you know, the results of that attack of your body's simple, wonderful process of trying to protect you is to give you the symptoms such as a runny nose, a scratchy eyes, or a stuffy nose, all the things that you experience. So your body's trying to protect yourself because it thinks and has made a mistake. That thing floating around in your environment when you breathe it in or when you're around it is something they're trying to attack you. But quite frankly, we know that it's not there to attack you because there's many people around the world who do not have that allergy response. They're completely safe in that environment. But for whatever reason, which we'll go clear into very, very soon, your body has made a mistake as to think that that thing in your is there to damage you or to attack you. So our body's response is to produce massive amounts of histamine, and that is why we get antihistamines or the allergen helpers. So when we go to things like hay fever pills and medication, is to be able to create antihistamines so you don't develop all those protection mechanisms. But as you know, when it comes to taking medication, that can have its downsides as well because you know there's side effects. It can make us feel drowsy. It's always on the label that it feels drowsy, and it can be very expensive. And sometimes they don't even work completely, or they work for a period of time, but then they start to wear off as your body gets used to it. Now, I'm offering you a 100% guarantee that this allergen will completely disappear or go almost completely at the very end, and it can take a bit of time after that, but to make a massive dramatic difference. So you no longer have to invest your money on those continuous monthly subscriptions or to actually experience those symptoms, which cause you just unhappiness. You can't function properly with those symptoms, with the runny nose and the eyes and things like that. I want to give you the ultimate solution, which will train your brain up to learn a new strategy. Now, this step-by-step process is going to absolutely cause your mind to think and realize you no longer have to produce that amount of histamine in your system. Therefore, it'll learn that you can go into any environment and be absolutely fine. Now, I've worked with people who experience allergies and have always got my result. They have got complete freedom from that allergy. And I want to share with you the secrets of how you can do the exact same. and I've done it this way. So that means you can continue listening to these processes until the allergy is completely disappeared. All we're doing is getting the mind and body to realize there's a new way of being. Now, the interesting thing about allergies is that our mind can be tricked into having an allergic response. There was actually a really cool, interesting story at about a turn of a century by a physician named Mackenzie who was treating a woman who had a violent reaction to roses. Now, he found that if he showed this person that one of his clans, a very real-looking artificial rose, the patient would still have the violent reaction. Now, how interesting is that the mind makes the association and thinks it should have a reaction, so it produces the same response as if it was there. So it's almost learning to react a certain way. So once your body has made a decision to be allergic to something, and if we think about that, it sounds interesting and in itself, because maybe you haven't always had that allergy to hay fever or cedar or whatever, or pets or animals and so on. But for whatever reason, over a period of years, maybe when you were younger, you started to develop that reaction. So first of all, there would be a time when your body did not have that reaction. Therefore, it must have been a learned response. Now we're going to be talking about that very soon. So you don't have to think about it too much right now. But it is very interesting to know that our body creates that reaction by making a simple mistake, and it can actually recreate that reaction by even not having it in its experience. Like, for example, the artificial rose where the brain thought it was real, but still produced the results despite it not being real. So go ahead and think about how long you've actually had this problem of having an allergy, and just think about it. What age were you? Just think about when one of the first times you actually experienced it in terms of what age you were and what kind of age you were at that time of your life. Now the chances are you've had to deal with this for a long time and can be a major part of your life. I mean, we have to really plan for these things when it comes into season, or whether around certain things, whether it be making sure we have enough medication. But I don't know if you know how your immune system was, because it's really quite interesting, because what's happened with allergy is that your immune system is overreacting and has become overreactive. So to really recap, your immune system made a mistake about what was dangerous and marked out that substance, or substances that put the active part of your immune system into action, like a call to action. But you must be protected. And once that mistake has been made, the cell, that pattern is coded into the body, and the immune system will go into action immediately, every single time, to react and give you those symptoms. So we can ultimately thank our immune system for operating in a way of protection. I mean, we understand that the behavior, the symptoms that you experience are not good at all. I mean, they don't make us feel good, but on the other hand, we can understand, but our system is trying to keep you safe. That's all it's trying to do. It's just gone a bit haywire, it's just gone a bit haywire, and it's causing you to overreact in this way. Now, with most people, our immune system has learned to do this very quickly. Sometimes it can be just in an instant. Once it's gone into a foreign environment, it suddenly thinks, I don't like this. Or it can be even. It's been proven to be under stress, when we've gone under a lot of stress, and our body makes the neuroassociation to it. Let me put that in a bit of context for you. I was actually working with my wife with her allergy, and the allergy actually came about when she was under stress, and she didn't feel very safe. And because it was in that environment at the very same time, the body recreated and associated to that stress. And I don't know if you ever noticed this, but sometimes you can actually produce the symptoms of the allergy, even if that's not in your environment under stress. So it almost gets this double-edged sword of whether it's in your environment or not. If we're under stress, it can still reproduce those type of symptoms for many people. Now, it may not do that for you, but be aware in your mind that your mind makes associations to certain things. So maybe we've been under stress, or we've gone on some form of high response rate, and then the mind makes the association to what was in your environment, at that time, and it thinks it should try to protect you by producing that histamine in your system. So there's many different ways how your body has created this. Now, I'm not always too interested about how it came about. I'm more interested about how we can quickly retrain your mind to be free of that allergy response. But it is also cool just to know that the body makes split decisions. It can make it under stress. It can make it when we're very young. We don't have all the knowledge and symptoms that it's not to be an unsafe thing or it's not trying to attack us. And it makes that quick decision because it thinks it was. And then that pattern gets ingrained in your mind and your biology that whenever that allergen is in your environment, it'll continue to respond in that way. Now, my job is to teach your unconscious mind, your brain, your biology to no longer react in that way and to learn to overcome it. It can be incredibly powerful, and I just know you are going to be able to experience that freedom like every single one of my clients, guaranteed. If you don't experience the level of freedom that you would like, if you don't feel satisfied by this program, just let me know, because it's 100% guarantee. As long as you follow the step-by-steps, I mean, after all, why wouldn't you follow those steps? Because you want that freedom as much as I want you to be free. So my goal is to ultimately give your system an alternative strategy when it comes to those things in your environment. So not the response that you are having, but a new response, a safer response where you'll still be protected, but without the symptoms, by educating your system to learn from it and to grow because of it. Now, all I need really is your commitment to follow out these processes. But before that, your commitment to really be free of the allergy itself. That's a very important thing. I said that because you have to be absolutely willing to let this go. Now, you may presume that you are, but I just want you to consider this as a question. Is it okay with you to be completely free of this allergy? Now, the reason why I say that is because sometimes the allergy can actually serve at an unconscious level, a positive game, other than the protection that is, we know that the body's trying to protect you, but it can be actually other reasons as well. I remember working with a client who had hay fever, and when I asked him that question, would it be okay to let it go? There was a bit of incongruency in his answer. He didn't. His physiology was kind of saying no, while his words were actually saying yes. So I discussed this with him, and he said, well, it will mean that I have to mow the grass and do more outside jobs. Now, it sounds very silly, but things like that can actually hinder our process. It can stop us because we're not fully willing to be free of an allergy. So other examples could be that sometimes when we have allergies, it gives us a reason to complain or to have excuses and things, and that means it gives us freedom to continue to experience the allergy. So my question to you is, are you 100% committed to be completely free of this allergy? And if you let go of this allergy, be absolutely okay to do the mowing or whatever it may be, to give up your reasons and limitations. That's what I'm really on about here. I want you to be completely committed that there are no what I call secondary gains, where you get gains by keeping an issue. To paint it into another metaphor, when I've worked with clients with, say, depression, and they're unable to work, they at an unconscious level think, well, if I keep my depression, that means I don't have to go out there and get a job. And that can be quite daunting for some people. So they choose to hold on to that depression and get the support, whether it be from the government, whether it be from their partner or their family and friends. And that reason stomps them wanting to really change. Now, since I'm guaranteeing this process to work, I want you to really guarantee to yourself that you are fully willing to let go of this, completely willing to be free of this in every way, to let go of those secondary gains, and take a few moments to think about that. Is this allergy actually giving you something in the positive? Now, it may seem negative, like it could be like a depression means you can't get a job, but deep down, we don't want that job. Or deep down, you don't want to mow the grass. I want to give you freedom of choice to mow the grass or not. But just realize, if you let go of this hay fever, we will not, or any allergen for that matter, in terms of in your environment, as I said, whether it be to dust or to dogs, to cats, and so on, are you willing to be free of that? And through that freedom, it will mean you'll be able to go and do certain things, and you won't have the excuse not to do those things anymore. And when you are really clear with that, when you get that real congruent yes in your system, that you are willing to do whatever it takes and you are completely at peace, that you are going to be letting go of the allergy and also any secondary gains for keeping the issue, then we can really go ahead and let this go. It's just so important to take responsibility and ownership over our life. That is where freedom comes from. So realize maybe this allergy, I'm not saying this for everyone, but if it is for you, it's still really important to ask that question. Maybe this allergy has been giving you an excuse or a reason to keep the allergy. I want you to be at peace to let go of that right now. So take 100% responsibility that now is your time to be free of that allergy, because I don't want your body to have any reasons for keeping the allergy. So no psychology or psychological reasons for keeping it, which are different from the protection allergy. That is the real thing I'm talking about here. I don't want you to have any psychological associations to not wanting to let it go. So just ask that question on the inside. Are you fully willing to let this go and to get the results that you desire and be free of the allergy so you can do all the things that you want to do in your life, so you no longer have to experience the swelling, you don't have to experience the runny nose or the stuffy nose or the itchy eyes, all those things. If you are 100% clear with that and you're 100% congruent, now we can go ahead and let that go for you. Now, for many people with allergies, in my research and my experience with working with people with allergies, is that people come to me and say, well, Yuri, my allergy must be kind of connected and passed down to me because my parents or siblings had allergies. Now, this is what we call identification in hypnosis. And what can also happen as to why this happens is that our brain models people between 0 and 7 years old. We are being imprinted by everything in our environment. And the following 7 years is when we are modeling people. So you could say in the first 14 years of our life, we are like a sponge taking in everything in our environment. So maybe if your father or mother or sibling had allergy response, we may have even just modeled it. We saw our family member have an allergy or a response to an allergy. And then at an unconscious level, we think we should do too because we respect them. We model them. We think whatever they're doing is right, no matter. We don't really put much judgment on it. We kind of put them on a pedestal and think that's what we're doing, so maybe I should do that too. So this body can make that mistake. The system can make a mistake of modeling those in our environment at a very young age. So maybe we've created this allergy from modeling those. Maybe we've created this allergy at an unconscious level by going through a one-time event when we're under stress. So the body associates for the thing in its environment, like the pollen or the cat hair, the dog hair, the dust, for example, and then associates for two together. So you've been under stress, you see, or your body experiences the allergy in the air, and that stress gets attached to that whatever's in your environment. And therefore the allergy is created. And as I said, it's a protection mechanism. And as well as that, if we weren't born with the allergy, so if it happened in the first early ages, or there was a time we were 1 day old or a week's old and we didn't have that allergy, and for that matter, even if we did have it, then we can still let it go. I know this process works, but the fact that for a lot of people who didn't have it until a certain period of their life, however young they were, it made a decision, and we can quickly undo that decision by following these steps. So I've got a series of processes, but once you start to work on yourself consistently through hypnosis, through my psychological processes of retraining and reassociating the brain to be safe in that environment, you'll get that freedom. So please do this step by step in a relatively comfortable succession. A lot of these processes will be maybe in hypnosis, where you can sit back, relax, listen to it as you go to sleep or in the day, and other processes where I need you to mentally do things. Now that means whether it be creating pictures in your mind, or if you're not very good at visual, to be able to do it in an auditory way, or a kinesthetic way. So in other words, our sounds and our feelings and so on, or a mixture of these, however you do it is fine. But it is important to follow these instructions step by step. At the end of the day, we want to be able to get the complete result, and this is how we are going to do it. So if you are ready to really go ahead and make this change once and for all, this is the end of this module. And in the next modules that you will be able to download after we already found out the root cause of your allergy, we're going to be going into the very first process to get that freedom from your allergy. So let's go ahead and book a one-on-one 30-minute session now, free of cost, if you are experiencing any sort of allergies. And more importantly, if you're ready to let go of that allergy, go to www.mindfulawarenessllc.shop and click the book a call button to finally let you free from it. So I look forward to speaking to you in the next module.